Good morning. I would like to take this time and welcome everyone to today's celebration commemorating Tishomingo County School District's first ever A rating. We want to extend a warm welcome to Dr. Carrie Wright, our state superintendent, and her guests. We also want to welcome our dignitaries, our school board members, our administrators, our teachers, our students, our parents, and community members. Without all of you, this special accomplishment would not have been possible. Our motto in Tishomingo County is "Together we can succeed." I cannot think of any other motto that best fits this occasion. It is that sense of togetherness that has made this achievement a reality. From our school board members to our teachers, from our students' work in our classrooms to our students' work in the athletic arena, the idea of "Together we can succeed" has driven and continues to drive the teamwork it takes to become one of the best in the state. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Josh McClung, principal of our A-rated Iuka Elementary School. His leadership team, teachers, and students worked extremely hard to earn this accomplishment, and we want to congratulate them in their achievement. Please join me in congratulating them and their accomplishment. Mr. McClung, we're going to ask that you lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance, and then after the pledge, Iuka Elementary Honor Choir and their instructor, Ms. Tara Castile, will lead us in our national anthem, so please stand at this time.
I'm going to have to go call them.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing, please.
introduce our community and our school leaders who have taken time today to help us celebrate this accomplishment. We are so blessed to live in a county that supports our children and our public education system. These people are always willing to help our schools and support our endeavors through their time and their work. We appreciate all you do for us, and we know that we could not do it without you, so thank you very much for your work. At this time, if you would, when I call your name, I would ask that you stand for a moment. So we would like to recognize your attendance, and I do ask our students and our teachers, our parents and community members to please hold your applause until we recognize all of our guests. Of course, I'd like to thank our school board members, Ms. Emily Bell, District 1 School Board Member, Dr. Deborah Brewer, our District 2 School Board Member. Our other 3 board members had obligations today, but I do want to make sure that we list their names. Dr. Jim Perkins, who is our District 3 School Board Member, Mr. Jeff Daniel, who's our School Board President and serves District 4, and Mr. Greg Smith, our District 5 School Member. Also, our School Board Attorney, Mr. Nathaniel Clark, Mr. Brandon Grisham, our District 1 Supervisor, Mr. Nicky McRae, our District 2 Supervisor, Mr. Michael Busby, our District 3 Supervisor, Mr. Jeff Holt, our District 4 Supervisor, and Mr. Greg Collier, our District 5 Supervisor, Mr. Peyton Cummings, the Tishomingo County Chancery Clerk, also Mr. Lester Bubba Carpenter, our State Representative, also Mr. J.P. Wildman, our State Senator, Mr. Gary Matthews, the Tishomingo County Development Foundation Director, Mr. Buddy Wiltshire, the Mayor of Belmont, Mr. David Nixon, the Mayor of Burnsville, Mr. Davey Ginn, the Mayor of Golden, Mr. John Castleberry, the Mayor of Iuka, Ms. Pam Oswald, the Mayor of Payton. I'm not sure if she got to come today, and then also Mr. James Tennyson, the Mayor of Tishomingo. And of course, our school district officials. We couldn't do this without the leadership at our individual schools and also those that serve at the district office. So if you would, I'd like to recognize you this morning. Mr. Van Roberts, the Belmont High School Principal. Mr. Jody McClung, the Belmont Assistant Principal. Ms. Katie Crane, Belmont Assistant Principal. Ms. Lori McCalman, Burnsville Head Principal. Mr. Kyle Cooper, Burnsville Assistant Principal. Of course, Mr. Josh McClung, Iuka Elementary Principal. Ms. Crystal Smith, Iuka Elementary and Iuka Middle Assistant Principal. Mr. Jeremy Reese, Iuka Middle Principal. Mr. John Grady Taylor, Career and Technical Director. Mr. Pete Howell, Tishomingo County High School Principal. Mr. Dax Glover, Tishomingo County Assistant Principal. Ms. Monica Moss, Tishomingo County High Assistant Principal. Mr. Shandon Edmondson, Tishomingo Elementary School Principal. Mr. B.J. Nunley, Tishomingo Elementary Assistant Principal and also Alternative School Director. Mr. Roy Lawson, Curriculum and Testing Director. Mr. Cliff Nunley, Special Education and Federal Programs Director. Mr. Jackie Bills, Transportation and Dropout Prevention Director. Mr. Joel Robertson, Human Resource Director and Board Clerk. Mr. Randy Northington, Technology Director. He doesn't like to be recognized, but stand up. Ms. Beth White, our Financial Director. And Ms. Nelda DeGraw, our MSIS Director. So let's give all of these people a... At this time, I would like to introduce our special guest for today. Several of you saw her as you came into the building. We have a very special guest, our State Superintendent, Dr. Carrie M. Wright. Dr. Carrie M. Wright became the State Superintendent of Education for Mississippi in 2013. Under her leadership, Mississippi has initiated aggressive education reforms that have increased literacy skills in pre-K through the 3rd grade, pushed student achievement on the National Assessment of Educational Progress to improve at a faster rate than most any other states, and increased the graduation rate at an all-time high of 83%. Dr. Wright spearheaded initiatives in Mississippi that nearly doubled the advanced placement, AP as we know it, participation and success rate, resulting in significant annual gains in English language arts and mathematics proficiency, and also earned Mississippi recognition from the National Institute for Early Education Research as one of only 5 states in the nation that meet most quality standards for early childhood education. Dr. Wright is past president of the Board of Directors of the Council of Chief State School Officers in 2017 and 18, and is a member of Chiefs for Change. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Dr. Carrie Wright to Tishomingo County and to the Tishomingo County School District.
Good morning. It's good to see everybody here. It's always a pleasure to be out and celebrating, and this is a part of our celebration tour that we do every year to celebrate districts and schools that achieved an A rating, so that's exactly why I'm here. This is my first year here, so I'm going to tell your superintendent that I'm going to look forward to coming back next year when that next A rating comes in. But this is a really wonderful time for a community to be so proud of its schools and its district. You know, we get asked a lot about our grading system around districts and school grades, and it's just like any other kind of grade. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to let our communities know how well our schools are actually doing, and so you are in the midst of that right here in Tishomingo. You are amongst the very best in the state. There were only 18 districts this year out of 144 that achieved an A rating, so that lets you know it is incredibly special. We take into consideration a lot of factors, and I think that's something that the community needs to know. We take a look at not only how well children are performing on our statewide assessments, but we're also looking at how well they grow from year to year. That's a key piece of our measure. We also look to see how many of our children are graduating from high school on time. So there's a lot of things that go into that. But the most important part for me is that it is inclusive of every single child. And you need to know that we look at every single piece of data on every single child, because it's important for us to know, are all children's needs being met, not just some children? You know, are we helping those children who are struggling on a regular basis? Are we helping those children who are excelling and need more challenging work, like advanced placement or dual credit? So all of those factors get taken into consideration when we decide to assign a grade. So districts that earn an A excel in every single area that I just mentioned. So that's something that you as a community should have a great deal of pride in. But it's just a lot of hard work. Those of you that are students, you know that earning an A is not easy. So when you're talking about a district or a school, it takes the work of every teacher, every administrator, every staff member, anybody that comes into contact with that school. It's all of their collective hard work that comes together, and not the least of which, students, are all of your incredibly hard work. I think if I were a teacher or a principal in Tishomingo, I can tell you right now that I'd make sure that everybody knew that I had a part in that A, because you all have a part in that A. It's not just one school or one district. But I wanted to tell you a few more things that I found out about Tishomingo. You know, while you have always been a high-performing school district, this is your first time for earning an A rating. And so that speaks volumes about how hard you've worked to get here. I know that you've invested in a one-to-one iPad initiative in grades 7 through 12 over the past 2 years, and you're planning on expanding that to 5th and 6th grade in the upcoming year. And I think the nice part about these one-to-one initiatives is, as you well know, it keeps you more engaged in your learning, and it also gives you a better outreach to learn around what's happening actually around the world. This past year, 54% of your district's juniors and seniors were enrolled in one or more dual credit classes. That's over half of your juniors and seniors. That's a huge part. We can have children now, by the time that they graduate, earning college credit so that you can enter college with all those credits already behind you. And I think both of the high schools have improved their ACT composite scores, and your district had 34 students who scored between 24 and 29 on an ACT, and 11 that scored over 30. That is a huge, huge significant gain. More than 95% of your third graders passed on the first attempt, placing them among the best in the state for 2018. Your district gained 14 points in proficiency in math, making you among the top 10 gainers in mathematics in Mississippi. So these achievements are spectacular. These are something that need to be celebrated. And I think that it's important for us to really recognize the folks behind all this. So if you are a teacher or an administrator or a staff member, be it at the district or school level, and you're in the room today, would you please stand? Absolutely. Give them a round of applause, students. You know, I've said to folks as I've traveled around, these are the folks that are in the building, students, before you get here. They're in the building after you leave. They're in the buildings working on the weekends or at home working on the weekends. They're ready for you every time Monday hits. But students, I want to talk to you specifically today because it's your work we're celebrating as well. Teachers are the ones that guide you each and every day, but you're the ones that put forth that effort. You're the ones, you've got teachers that are setting very high expectations for you. That's obvious. But more importantly, you are meeting and exceeding those expectations, and that's even more important. I'm a firm believer that the harder you work, the more you can achieve. And you've got to keep up the good work. Your future, lies ahead of you. I think that one thing that you need to know also, you are making history in Mississippi. And you need to know that this past year serving as the president of the Council of Chief State School Officers, I was privileged that I got to travel around the nation talking about what's happening in Mississippi. Because my colleagues, other state chiefs, are saying, what is going on? How is it that you're achieving the things that you're achieving? We are outpacing most other states in the nation with the growth that we're making. That's historical. That's not ever happened in our state before. And it's because of you. It's because of students, it's because of teachers, it's because of leaders starting at the district level all the way down to the school level. But boys and girls, you are Mississippi's history. And I think that's something that you should really take with pride. I've said, and every time I get an opportunity, we are no longer at the bottom. So don't let one person tell you that. Don't let one person even say that to you. We are not at the bottom. Now, when people ask me, why is that? I tell them the same thing. I said, we have some of the most amazing students that are achieving some of the most amazing things in our state. And right behind that, I also say, but it's due to incredibly talented teachers and incredibly talented leaders, all focused on the same thing, and that is your best interest. And I think when you see a community like this come together, because that's the other commonality that I see strong community support. I can tell you right now, I've been around the state, and to see all of these people that are here in the community that took time out of their day to come and celebrate, that's significant information. That lets you know that it's not just inside the school that you've got support, it's outside the school. And that's going to continue to make this district an outstanding district. I think that what you've achieved, you need to be very proud of. I also want to brag a minute on your superintendent. Ms. Holly serves on my Superintendent's Advisory Council. And I can tell you that you are blessed to have her in a leadership role. She brings a great deal of wisdom to that council, and that council is a group that I meet with on a monthly basis, and we talk about all kinds of things that are affecting the state. But it's leaders such as your superintendent, it's leaders such as your principals, but it's also leaders in the classroom that make this district what it is today. I want you to know that your award is being shipped directly to your central office. So you should receive that either tomorrow or Wednesday. We are presenting everybody with a wonderful, it's like a trophy-ish, I want to say, but it has the big A all over it, and so you could be very proud. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me. I look forward to coming back here again next year. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dr. Wright, for your kind words and your dedication to the District of Mississippi through your work at the Department of Education and also, like you said, throughout the United States. We appreciate all that you do for us. Several years ago, we worked together to create a new vision in Tishomingo County School District. We've always been blessed, as Dr. Wright said, to have some of the most high-performing and best schools in the state. We've always been blessed with great schools, great leaders, great communities, great teachers and students. Our past performance as a high-performing district is proof of that. But we wanted to push past the good and get to the great. A few years ago, I challenged our staff and faculty to not settle for good. We discussed how good is the enemy of great. We don't want to be satisfied with good performance. We want to push to be great in everything that we do. We asked our faculty and leaders to look at student data and develop plans to help their learning. Through this hard work, we've been able to see great strides in student performance. Our vision states this: together we strive to prepare all students to be productive citizens by ensuring excellence. Today we are celebrating excellence. Students, today we are celebrating you. Teachers, today we are celebrating you. Staff members, today we are celebrating you. Leaders, today we are celebrating you. Tishomingo County, today we are celebrating you. You have worked tirelessly to reach excellence, and today we celebrate that accomplishment. We have students here today that are representatives of their classes. They were selected as class officers or student government representatives to represent their fellow classmates. So let's give our students a hand for their hard work and accomplishment. We also have 4th grade students from Iuka Elementary and 5th grade students from Iuka Middle that contributed to the A rating for Iuka Elementary. Let's give them a hand for that accomplishment. Also today we have students who scored a perfect score on their state assessment. What an accomplishment. If you scored perfect on your state assessment, would you please stand and let's recognize you at this time. We also have teachers here to represent the schools in our district. We truly have some of the hardest working teachers in the state. They put in the extra hours, as Dr. Wright talked about, and the extra effort it takes to reach each student and make sure they are loved, number one, and then successful along with that. Let's let our teachers please stand, and I want to recognize you again for your hard work today. I also want to thank our local media. They support us each week with stories that we ask them to run in our paper and also our local programming. They're always willing to help us celebrate the success of our schools. I've never one time sent something to our local media and not had it published in local papers, and I appreciate all the support that our people give us at our local newspapers and also those that help with programming. And lastly, we want to thank each teacher, staff member, student, and community member that is watching through our live stream today. This is a first for us. We're actually live streaming on YouTube, so we hope we have classrooms in our district that are watching. So thank you, all of you that are watching today, for doing your best, and thank you for striving for excellence. And I will end with this. Pat Riley once said, "Excellence is the gradual result of always striving to do better." My challenge to you students, and to our teachers, and to our parents, our leaders, and our communities is this: let's keep striving to do better. If we do, excellence will happen. I want to thank everyone for coming today.